everybody. It's SOLI in Las Vegas. I am solo today. My co-creator and podcast host, Jeff C., is on the road touring with his band. So I'm sitting in today doing a solo podcast, Patriots Only, please.com. Very, very excited to be here. There's so much to talk about. It's Trump's triumphant first week back in office. And from Inauguration Day on January 20th, 2025 until today, Thursday, January 23rd, 2025, it's been a whirlwind of executive orders and amazing announcements and the ending of an era in terms of Joe Biden's administration and the beginning of a new America First era with Trump, J.D. Vance, and the Republican parties running the full federal government. It's fantastic to see. And starting with Inauguration Day, I thought the service was great. If you guys remember, it was super cold on Monday, 22 degrees in Washington, D.C. Normally, the official ceremonies take place outside, but they had to move them inside into the rotunda due to the inclement weather. It was very, very cold. But I thought it was better. I thought moving the inauguration inside made it better because it was up close and personal. The transfer of power felt like a physical exchange with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden sitting, 5 feet away from Trump while they got signed in. We watched their reactions. We had the top brass in the DNC and the RNC in the same room, as well as some of Trump's new surrogates there as well, some tech people, some other allies for Trump in the room. But fantastic ceremony. Trump gave a very, very powerful speech after he got sworn in officially as the new 47th president of the United States. Very, very powerful stuff. It was a fantastic speech. And the reason that I liked it as a conservative, as a Republican, was that he basically told Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, with them sitting right next to him, that he'd be essentially undoing everything they've done in the last 4 years. The Biden-Harris administration ended in double-digit inflation, open borders, and endless wars. And Trump planned to undo all those things, which is a blessing to the country and exactly what American voters voted for. So Trump is doing what he said he would do. One of Trump's mottos is promises made, promises kept. He promised to hit the ground running. He promised to start to unravel the far left woke policies that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris had enacted in the last 4 years. And that's exactly what he's been doing from day one. He actually, on day one, the same day he got inaugurated at the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C., he actually set up a desk with the presidential seal. And he actually in public signed, I think, 30 executive orders undoing Joe Biden's work over the last 4 years. I've never seen a president do a public display of signing executive orders. It was incredible to watch. But the entire day was filled with pomp and circumstance to follow the traditions of a new president coming into office, as well as lots of live music, patriotic people from all over the world and all over the country there to show their support for Trump and for the new administration. Making America Great Again is a big deal to people on our side, and we now have the government fully in control, so we're able to push these policies through pretty quickly. Very, very excited about what Trump's already done and what he plans on doing. But of course, right from the beginning, the left has been pushing back and trying to derail Trump at every moment. That's about the only thing they can do at this point. They've lost all political power in the country, or most of it. So starting with Trump's appointees, Trump's nominations for his cabinet. Those hearings have been very interesting to watch as well. The left is asking, of course, questions about their personal character and about nonsense. They're not really focused on the policy issues that the appointees are bringing to the table. But we expected that. We expected the left to push back as much as possible. That's essentially all they can do at this point. But still, it's been super exciting to watch Trump come back into power, do exactly what he said he was going to do, and start making America great again. And the thing is, folks, we have to remember that Trump campaigned on these things. Trump campaigned talking about the immigration crisis, talking about the border crisis, talking about the affordability crisis. And Trump told us what his plans were. Trump told us that he planned to do what Obama did. President Obama, back in his second term, deported over 5 million illegal aliens. That's a fact. Please fact check that, but it's a fact. Up until right now, President Obama has deported more people than any other president in U.S. history. Well, Trump plans on matching Obama's efforts and probably even exceeding them because the Biden administration allowed so many people to come in into our country under the guise of humanitarian aid. But it ended up being over millions and millions of people that are draining our system, are using our tax money for things that Americans themselves can't afford: housing, medical care. I mean, everything's kind of flip flopped from when Trump left office before and from when Joe Biden took over. And so of course, President Trump from day one, as he promised, is undoing the policies that Americans voted Trump back in to change. So I'm very, very proud of Trump sticking to his guns. He knows he only has 4 years to get this stuff done. He knows that every second counts, and he's built amazing coalitions in the interim, and he hit the ground running. He's already announced a $500 billion AI infrastructure bill that'll bring data centers and thousands of jobs to the United States. And as of 5 p.m. yesterday, all federal DEI programs have been scuttled. The new Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has issued an order that only the American flag is to be flown at U.S. embassies worldwide. No other flags will fly. I don't need to mention what those flags might be, but we find it appropriate that only the U.S. flag should be flown at U.S. embassies around the world. No other flag should fly for political reasons. Let's leave it at that. But I'm super proud of the team that Trump's put together. I'm very, very excited about the future. Trump has already put in sweeping changes in D.C. itself. He removed the security clearance for all the folks who basically hid Hunter Biden's laptop, all the FBI and DOJ workers who had Hunter's laptop for all those years and didn't do anything about them. They've all lost their security clearance. Some of them have lost their jobs. It's amazing to watch the speed at which Trump is moving. And of course, this stuff the executive orders have immediate action, but the real changes take place in Congress. We're aware of that. But the Republicans have a majority in the House and the Senate, and they also, of course, control the White House. So for the first 6 to 8 months, Trump's really going to do what he wants to do: get these things signed into law quickly, and start lowering inflation, securing the border. He's already got hostages coming home from Israel, which is such a blessing. This is not a political issue, whether you're on the red team or the blue team, left or the right. Everybody wants to see the hostages come home. There's over 13 Americans that have been held since October 7th. They're going to get released very, very soon. But there are over 100 hostages from all over the world that Hamas has been holding, and they're going to be coming home over the next few months. This is a great news for everyone, and it might not be the best deal in the world because in addition to Hamas releasing hostages, Israel has to release prisoners of war, prisoners who, of course, committed acts of terrorism. But this deal was the best deal they could make to get the hostages to come home. And some of the hostages actually appeared at Trump's inauguration on January 20th. It was super powerful to see people who had been in captivity for that long standing behind President Trump on the first day he was inaugurated in office, delivering his speech to the American people, talking about the fact that this war might not never have happened if Trump had been president. Trump's next goal is to get the war in Ukraine and in Russia, get that settled, get that negotiated. I'm very, very excited to see an end to that. As Trump has said many, many times before becoming president and after becoming president, it's just an unprecedented number of death. Ukraine and Russia have both lost hundreds of thousands of people. The war's been going on unabated for 3.5 years. It's cost hundreds of billions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of lives, and ultimately it's a stalemate. So this is a point at which leaders, real leaders, discuss a settlement, discuss some kind of peace, discuss some kind of arrangement where the war can stop and Russia and Ukraine can go back to the business of running their countries. Endless wars don't help anyone, and it's been 3.5 years already. So I'm very confident because when Trump was president the first time around, he and Putin had a very good relationship, a very respectful relationship. Peace through strength, essentially. Putin knows that Trump means business. Putin knows that Trump will do what it takes to get this war over. If that means sanctions against Russia, he'll do it. If that means crippling sanctions against Russia, he'll do it. Hopefully, it won't come to that. Hopefully, Trump does when it comes to the Middle East. Hopefully, Trump does, and this is just my personal hope. I hope that Trump does replace the. I hope he returns to the sanctions on Iran that he had in his first term. If you remember, in Trump's first term, Iran was broke. Trump had put such crippling sanctions on Iran that no one in the world was allowed to buy oil from Iran, including China. So Iran did not have enough money to fund their horrible terrorist operations around the world, especially in the Middle East. Well, Biden changed all that. Biden, as we know, I don't have to go over the details, but Biden paid money to release hostages. Biden sent billions of dollars in humanitarian aid that, of course, Iran used for war efforts around the world, particularly in Israel. We know that Hamas is funded by Iran. So I hope that Trump returns to his former stance with Iran and puts the same sanctions back on that country so they're not able to fund these terrible war efforts around the planet. It would be better for the Middle East. It would be better for the world. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But essentially, Trump's been focusing this first week on domestic issues. I mean, Israel as well is a part of that because of the hostages coming home. But Trump's been focusing on D.C. itself. He's been draining the swamp, to quote his famous phrase, and it's working. He's bringing people back to work that have been working remotely forever. As I said, DEI is dead on the federal level, which is a great thing. We're moving to a merit-based country, a merit-based way to hire people. And hopefully that merit-based system works its way into U.S. universities again so that people get a fair shake. And people that deserve to work and get these opportunities, get them based on their merit and their merit alone. That's the way it should work in a constitutional republic and a democracy like the United States. That's my personal opinion. But I'm just super excited to see that Trump is doing what he said he would do. He's hit the ground running. He's signing executive orders. Congress and the Senate. Mike Johnson's been a fantastic partner as well. Mike Johnson's been a huge advocate for Trump. And as we know, I can't end this podcast without talking about Joe Biden, the way that he left his pardons, his preemptive pardons for his entire family. On the record now, Joe Biden is done. Joe Biden has now been put out to political pasture, which is a blessing to the United States and to the world. But Joe Biden signed over 7,000 executive orders. That is an abuse of the pardon privilege. It has set a terrible precedent for future presidents. Because, I mean, if you think about this, why wouldn't Trump at the end of his second term, why wouldn't Trump pardon every one of his political allies like Biden did? I mean, how far does this go? Should Trump pardon everyone he's ever played golf with? Joe Biden opened up Pandora's box by weaponizing the DOJ against his political opponent, which Trump has already signed an executive order to make sure that can't happen again. But why won't future presidents do what Joe Biden did and pardon anyone they think preemptively or in real time who might face justice? Innocent people don't need pardons. Even the folks on the left are having a difficult time defending Joe Biden's last-minute pardons of his entire family, of Dr. Fauci, of General Milley. Never before has a U.S. president pardoned sitting members of Congress. When Joe Biden pardoned the January 6th committee team, he pardoned sitting members of Congress. It was Joe Biden's way of saying these Democrats can't be touched, and Liz Cheney, the rhino, can't be touched while they're still in office. It's circumventing the justice system. It's avoiding the rule of law. And for the last 10 years, the Democrats have been calling Trump a threat to democracy. Well, it turns out that Joe Biden was the real threat to democracy, and his pardons are proof of that fact. It's the second president with the most pardons, second to Joe Biden, is Obama. Obama ended his 8 years pardoning about 1,900 people, which at the time was an enormous number. Joe Biden's plus 7,000 is a new record, and it's a terrible thing. And Now that Joe Biden is gone, no one will ask him any questions about it, of course. But the left has been left scrambling, trying to defend this horrible move. And everyone that I've seen on the left that has any kind of core of morals and ethics has said it's inexcusable and it's indefensible. So Joe Biden began his presidency bumbling the removal of American troops from Afghanistan, leaving Americans behind, leaving $100 billion worth of military equipment there. And Joe Biden essentially gave an entire country to the Taliban. Joe Biden began his presidency by giving a country to terrorists, and he left the office by pardoning 10 people from Guantanamo Bay who we know are known terrorists. So you do the math, you figure it out. But to sum it up, the Biden-Harris administration was 4 years of America last, and we have, thank goodness, started a new golden age of America first. And Trump has shown us, like he promised on his campaign trail, he's keeping his promises. He is moving quickly. He's signing executive orders to get things done right, to remove what Biden and Harris have done, that have stifled the economy, that have created endless wars and open borders. It's happening in real time. It's an exciting time to watch politics, it's an exciting time to watch Trump change the country back to an America First vibe, if you will. And I'm very, very excited about the future. The next big hurdle, of course, will be the Ukraine-Russia war. I hope that gets settled sooner than later. Trump has promised to make that one of his priorities. Trump will be heading out to Nevada, where I'm located, tomorrow. Trump is going to stop by here on Friday to say thanks to the folks in Nevada for voting him and for winning the state of Nevada for Trump. Nevada's been a red state for a long time when it comes to midterms, when it comes to congressional and House seats. But Nevada's gone blue in the last couple of elections in terms of presidential elections. This time, Trump won Nevada. Trump turned Nevada red. Of course, as you know, Trump won all the swing states. Trump broke the blue wall. He won the popular vote. He won the Electoral College. It is an incredible mandate from the American people, and Trump is doing what he said he would do. He hit the ground running. He's undoing everything Joe Biden and Kamala Harris did for the last 4 years. He's making America First policies into law as soon as he possibly can. And we're already feeling the effects of it. It's been a fantastic first week. We're 4 days in, guys. We're 4 days in, and it already feels like the censorship is going away. It feels like, I mean, you know, Elon Musk on Inauguration Day made a gesture. He went from his heart out to the crowd to say how happy he was to be a part of the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. He was overwhelmed by emotion. He put his hand on his chest, and then he made another motion. And the left has been all over the media and all over social media talking about how it looks like a different kind of thing that it is. Again, the left's doing all they can to smear it. TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, is a real thing. The new version of that is EDS, the Elon derangement syndrome. I think this guy's going to be under a microscope by the left because it's all they have left. Since Elon bought Twitter, now X, it's become a platform where free speech rules. A lot of people on the left have left X because they can no longer attack people on the right with impunity. And of course, we now know when Elon Musk bought Twitter and opened up all the files, the Biden administration and Twitter, the former CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, were purposely suppressing conservative voices during the 2020 election to help Joe Biden win. That's over. TikTok is on the block. President Trump issued an executive order giving TikTok 75 more days to find an American partner with whom to control the TikTok algorithm. Right now, TikTok is controlled by ByteDance, which is a Chinese-owned company. The communist government is involved in that, and of course, we want Americans' information to be safe. We want there to be a U.S. partner with TikTok, so the Chinese government isn't able to see Americans' information. Trump's working on that as well. He's working on finding a partner, and his proposal is that the American partner that buys into TikTok to make TikTok a U.S.-based company. The United States government would own 50% of TikTok, which I think is a fantastic move. but TikTok's got a 70-day reprieve to figure out how to make that make sense, or it'll get banned again. I don't think TikTok will go away. TikTok helped Trump win the youth vote. Because of TikTok, Trump won the youth vote by 36%. So that's good news for Trump. It's good news for social media. It's good news for America First Republican conservatives all over the United States. And you're seeing this movement seep into other places. Justin Trudeau is out in Canada. His 10 years of liberal rule has ended in, essentially, Justin Trudeau was the Joe Biden of Canada. I mean, Canada's problems right now mirror the United States' problems. There's an affordability crisis. There's a housing crisis. There's an immigration crisis. There's a Green New Deal crisis. Canada's been trying to force the Green New Deal on Canadian consumers who are already paying 40% in taxes. They can't afford to pay $90,000 for an EV. They can't afford to pay for the Green New Deal. So Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party has fallen apart. The Conservative Party is most likely going to win in the next election. We see in Argentina how the Argentinian prime minister has taken a country with out of control inflation and gotten it down to single-digit inflation in less than 2 years, following MAGA-like policies. So the world is waking up to the left, to the far left, and understanding that public servants work for us. Government officials work for us. And if they're not pursuing policies that make their constituents' lives better, they deserve to leave office. We're seeing it we're seeing it in Italy, we're seeing it in Canada, we're seeing it here. And hopefully the rest of our allies around the world will start seeing it as well. And we'll start removing these far left leaders and putting in MAGA type leaders in Western countries. So again, everyone can benefit. Trump, as Trump said in his inauguration speech, as Trump said on the campaign trail, his plan, his plan is to make America more affordable, to stop the endless wars, to close the borders, and to focus on America first, to make sure Americans are being taken care of first before we save the world. I think it's a great plan. I'm very excited to watch Trump executing it in real time. We could expect the left to push back as much as possible, but they're not going to stop it. They're not going to stop this train. So we'd love you to follow the podcast. Please, if you would, like, share, comment, and subscribe today. Patriots Only, please. We're on all the socials. We love to go live as well, like we're doing today. Please comment, give us your feedback. If you have any story ideas or topics you'd love us to cover, please let us know. And Jeff C., my partner, will be back next week to pick up the podcast where we left off. But I was proud to do it by myself today to talk about Trump's first triumphant week in office and to let you know that we made the right decision as a country. Trump turned most of the United States red, and we're all going to benefit from this. And over the next days and weeks, we're going to watch Trump move as fast as possible with executive orders and with Congress and with legislation to undo the 4 years of the Biden-Harris America last policies and make America first the rule of law in our country again. Thank you so much for your kind attention today. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to hear from you guys on the socials, and keep on trumping. Bye for now.